Hello everyone, Sage here with you for Kalkine Media, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Executive Corner Expert Talks. In this edition, we'll be shining the spotlight on KB Crypto. And the best way to do that is to basically get their founder and hedge fund manager, Devon Edwards, in to sit with us and share his insights. And so we have done that for you. We have got Devon Edwards. He's the founder and hedge fund manager at KB Crypto, and he's going to join us today. KB Crypto is a unique Canadian hedge fund which calls itself the most unconventional fund, thanks to their model that allows a perfect marriage between cryptos and traditional assets like commodities. And Devon is not your typical impulsive crypto backer. He knows about the opportunities and risks that this new asset class can bring, and that's why we've got him in today to talk to us and share his insights. Welcome to the show, Devon.
Hey, how are you?
Great, thanks. So happy to have you join us today.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad to talk more about crypto and the market, and just excited to share my thoughts and insights on everything.
Devon, I mean, we can't ignore what's happening at the moment. We're seeing Bitcoin at levels it hasn't been since December 2020. Ethereum's maybe testing that support level and maybe looking for a new bottom. What are your insights of the current market scenario before we start with our mainline discussion, please?
I know we'll talk about that in a bit, but right now there's just a lot of uncertainty in the market when it comes to inflation. Sometimes people are thinking, a lot of times there's what's called as a herd mentality. So I hear from a lot of my friends, buy the dip, right? And with Bitcoin being down, Ethereum was down. It's actually up 6% as an hour ago of this recording. So that is on its way back up. But for Bitcoin, basically, if the majority of people are, when I say the majority, when people are buying the dip, a lot of times people see that as an opportunity to sell even more. So I know a lot of people and friends that have bought in Bitcoin because it was at 32,000, then it went to 30,000, and then it went to 29 and 25. And so at around 28, 29, they're like, buy the dip, And so I'm just like, I wouldn't really, I would just wait. It's the summertime. Things kind of go slow a little bit, especially in June. Those people, all my friends who bought Bitcoin at 29,000, they're really hurting right now because it's at 23,000 as of right now. So it's just lots of uncertainty in the market.
Yes, lots of ups and downs. And I guess that's why we have to keep on talking to people like you who are working in the space every day, closely doing your analysis and other tasks that are required by someone who runs a hedge fund. And so can you let us know more about what you do at KB Crypto? We've got from our previous conversations with you that we've talked about KB Crypto's Canadian roots despite its head office in the Bahamas. How cool is that? How do you think Canadians are interacting with this new asset class, which has options like Bitcoin and NFTs available?
Yeah, so, when it comes to Canadians, I think Canadians are very hesitant when it comes to, Bitcoin and NFTs. There's just a lot of uncertainty. They tend to copy whatever the United States does, sometimes, not all the time. But I feel as if right now there's just, again, so much uncertainty, so much, Bitcoin is just like the wild, wild west, right? So we don't really know what's happening. The market cap is huge, but it's shrinking all the time. So just to answer your first question, what do we do at KB Crypto? We accept investments and we accept it as crypto. And then we take that money, we convert it to stable coins and to US dollar, and we load up that money with our brokers. So we trade the foreign exchange market, we trade stocks, CFDs, metals, commodities, energies, just like a traditional hedge fund does.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the week, we tally up all our results, and based on whatever tier that you've bought in, we pay that out in percentage. So some weeks it's 0.5%, some weeks it's 1.2%. It just depends. We don't ever promise anything, but our goal is to hit between 5 to 15% per month. It's mainly around 5. 15% is kind of pushing it. That's when we start getting a little bit more risky, but I'm all about low risk and still getting a nice return. That's better than having your money sit in the bank account. So
exactly. Well, that sounds all very interesting. And to be honest, I mean, the ethos that was driving Bitcoin, I mean, in regards to Satoshi's white paper, it was meant to be a peer-to-peer money transfer system, and it was meant to bring liquidity to underrepresented populations in the world, hopefully. But I guess we were kind of seeing that it was becoming sort of this game for the rich people. How does KB Crypto come into that? I understand that people can gain access to your products with a minimum deposit amount, which is not too much of an ask. Is that right? Could you fill us in on that, please?
Yeah. So that's a great question. When it comes to traditional hedge funds, you need a lot of money. It's set up for the rich. It's managed by the rich or the wealthy. And it's typically like $1 million or $10 million or something like that. So this hedge fund is inspired by Wall Street bets, which is something that happened in 2021, where a bunch of traders kind of overtook a bunch of hedge funds and just band together. So it kind of has that same concept, but to answer your question, $200 is the lowest tier. It's at tier 1, and tier 2 is 500, tier 3 is 1,000, and it goes all the way up to tier 12, which is 100,000 USD. So $100,000 does seem like a lot to some people, but to a hedge fund, it's not that much. But we created this program to give lower middle class, maybe even upper class citizens an opportunity of what it feels like to invest, even if it's a small amount, $200, right? And so, if someone invests $200 and they're getting paid $2 or $1 in Bitcoin, which I understand is not a lot, but they get to see like, wow, I invested something and I'm getting like money every week without doing anything, right? 6 months goes by, a year goes by, they're just like, wow, especially with Bitcoin. As of, it's low right now. So we're paying out in Bitcoin. So we do have some members that hold on to their Bitcoin and they just, hope that it goes up. Whereas others, whenever they receive their payouts from us, they instantly convert to their local currency, right? So if they're in Australia, they'll convert to, Australian dollar, or if they're in Canada, the Canadian dollar, or it just depends on wherever they're at, right? So they'll instantly convert to their local currency. And everyone loves it, right? So typically when people start off at a low tier, they see like, wow, like this is how much money I'm getting on this low amount. Their goal is to get to the higher amount, tier 2, tier 3, tier 10, tier 11. So our tier 10s, 11s, and 12s, those guys, they're getting like some serious cash because, if we make, 1.2%, that's like 1,000 US dollars per week, right? So we have a lot of people that are surviving. I guess they're kind of surviving. They may not be working, but they have money and they're just like, okay, this money is sitting in a bank account earning 11 cents a year or $1 a year. Might as well stick it into KB Crypto, also called KB Capital. We're called KB Capital in Canada, and let a hedge fund that's trusted and our track record is proven trade the market for you. So yeah, that's how it works.
Sounds very inviting indeed. So you must be keeping tabs on how the federal and provincial governments and the regulators in Canada are responding, especially after the Terra USD stablecoin issue. Is there any big change in the offerings with respect to regulations of the crypto market from KB Crypto's side of things?
It doesn't affect KB Crypto at all. We hedge against the market based on our returns, and we do really well. And even though there's things like stable coins like Luna and UST that have, collapsed, decollateralized, that doesn't affect us at all. We do store some of our assets in USDT. but USDT is very stable, but we actually store the majority of our money in BUSD, which is actually a lot more stable than USDT in our opinion, because we just don't have, there's not a lot of regulation around USDT. So we feel like BUSD, which is Binance US dollar, is a lot better. So long story short, nope, doesn't affect KB Crypto at all.
That sounds great. And it sounds like with such a new space that is becoming more mainstream now, such as the digital assets, your product, your platform's allowing people to test the waters, maybe dip their toe in, get used to receiving that weekly, 1% or less than 1% income from their deposit, and just get a taste for what digital assets can offer. Would that be right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly, that's exactly what we do. And, when people join KB Crypto, they are able to just really see what it's like to, it's kind of like their first taste into crypto, right? So we have a lot of senior citizens that join, which I would rather have them join us and kind of learn this thing, because I have family members and friends, people who go to my church, like, that are involved in this. So I have people that know me, right? So yeah. We want to do things honest and in an ethical way. So yeah, I'd rather have people like senior citizens and older people invest with us. And we will definitely take care and steward that money the best that we can. And everything that we do is very low risk. So if someone invests $10,000, we use a very small portion. Sometimes it's 1% to 2%. Sometimes it's 5 or 10%. It just depends on the strategy that we're using with their money.
Okay, sounds great. So now a straight question, as if I were a Bitcoin holder, please. Can you tell me why I should not keep it locked in my wallet and instead perhaps try out a hedge fund like KB Capital?
That's a great question. That's the reason why we started KB Crypto, was because I saw how much money people are holding on for dear life with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all of these things, right? I see the volume and the market cap that's happening, and I'm just like, man, like, look at all of these people. Like, I understand there are Dogecoin millionaires, there are Ethereum millionaires, whenever that shot up, but everyone's taking their money, putting it into an exchange, finding some low coin that's, new coin that's like just created, and they're just like, man, look at this coin, it's 0.00000 cents. I'm gonna get 2 billion of them. Oh, if this hits 1 cent, I'm going to be a millionaire or a billionaire, right? And the likelihood of that happening is very low, very, very low. Is it possible? Absolutely, right? But that's what the hopes of most people are, hopes of what most people do. And so if those same people just said to themselves, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a portion of that and put it into KB Crypto, and they are going to get paid out every single week, no matter what, with what we do and generate with our systems and high frequency trading with their money. So it's kind of a hedge against the traditional crypto. Like, some people have asked us, is KB Crypto a coin? And I'm just like, no, it's not a coin. We're just a company. We're a hedge fund. We just call ourselves KB Crypto. And that's why we started calling ourselves KB Capital, to get people used to saying, like, oh, we're a hedge fund. We just happen to integrate into the blockchain. That's all. We just happen to accept payments, and then we pay out payments, but we don't actually trade crypto as of yet. We are working and dabbling on some things, but whatever we decide to do when it comes to crypto, it's going to be super low risk. So yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting strategy. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. And I guess just like with anything, if you are a day trader in crypto, you just got to get your focus right. You've got to see whether you're interested in the use cases for crypto, or whether you're wanting to scalp and chase those ups and downs to make the money. But very interesting that you receive payments from your clients in crypto, but then you trade it in a variety of assets. So you make the most of the traditional financial markets. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We take the money, gets converted into US dollar, and we load it up in traditional foreign exchange brokers, right? So a broker that we trade with, so one is Blueberry Markets, another one is globalprime.com, another one's equity.com, another one's fpmarkets.com. Those are just some of the few, and we like to spread out our risk amongst multiple brokers, but we're set up as an institutional trader, not always retail, but and then we trade the market professionally, just like a normal hedge fund would do, and we're very good, very successful at what we do. So it's a win-win for everyone, literally. The brokers love us.
It sounds so cool, Devon. And you were a growing company. Please remind me, when did you begin this amazing KB Crypto, and when did you start trading in your hedge fund?
May and June of 2021 is when we began beta testing. So that's just the concept and idea, and it didn't really come into fruition until February of 2021. That's when I actually grabbed 4 investors and said, hey, like, trust me with your money. And it was a very small amount. It's $4,000, not a lot. Like it's not even a hedge fund at that point. It's just like, friends and family's money, right? So we took that and we did really well that month. And I was like, okay, March 1st, 2021, that is the official day, that the first day that we, March 1st is when we launched, and we've grown that 4,000 into literally 812,000 US dollars as of right now. So it's great. And we've had over 172,000 US dollars in payouts.
Wow.
So we're doing really well.
Devon, you are a growing company, and timing is everything. And it seems like you were spot on with your intuition getting started with this company at the time that you did. So congratulations for that. Now, has the pandemic and this ongoing stock market turmoil that we're witnessing caused any operational issues moving forward? And just one more thing on that note, what is your advice for other businesses that operate on a scale similar to yours during this time of uncertainty?
Yeah, like, so your question is, what has there been any roadblocks, like trying to grow as a company? Is that right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, lots of roadblocks. We are working in the most high risk industry possible. So much that we hired lawyers to not incorporate. We're already incorporated, but we're trying to get regulated in Canada. So we have KB Crypto, which is located in the Bahamas, does not have any regulation at all. We're able to accept everyone worldwide, right? That's how a lot of other scam companies work, but we're trying our best to comply with the Canadian government, and they're super, super strict. So strict that our lawyers have determined that there is actually no like law or anything within Canada with what we are doing. Like, we are so advanced because we're not just a crypto company, we're also a hedge fund / an investment. So crypto and investments are considered high risk, and we've just combined them, right? And it's so much work that we have to do to get regulated. We have to have 2 million in the bank. We have to have a CFA on board who has 5 years working in the investment industry. We need to have an auditor that is approved by the IIROC, which is some regulatory body that governs, investments all throughout Canada. So we've just, as of right now, and we're trying to get all our ducks in a row so that we can at least apply and get that approval, but we can't right now because we just don't have the resources. Like, literally the system is set up for the wealthy and the rich. So, but we're going to get there. And it's just taking some time. So, but as of now, people know us, they know me. It all comes down to a trustworthy thing. Like, if the Canadian government were to say like, hey, we know what you're doing, can you just work with us and talk with us? I'd be like, absolutely. We want to be involved. We want your approval, right? But it's just not happening right now. So lots of roadblocks.
Okay, sure. Well, that's understandable. I mean, they want to bring in a whole lot of stuff like KYC and
of course.
Yes. How does that affect you?
And we have that. We have KYC. We have KYC, we have it custom built, developed by us, and we have that implemented. So we're ready. Like we're ready. Going forward, we've experienced, I'm just going to back up. We've experienced a lot of heartache and issue when it comes to banks, right? So with banks, we've had our bank account shut down 3 different times by 3 different banks.
Whoa.
And long story short, it's because there's a word crypto in our name, and no bank wants to mess with crypto-based companies because of what happened in February with the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. He did some Emergencies Act. I don't know if you know about it, but some truckers convoy thing was happening. They were protesting, no masks. And long story short, people were sending these protesters money, and the government was like, how are they getting money? Well, they were getting money through crypto, and the government was really upset because they couldn't track it. So then they just started banning like crypto. They started banning like banks. Like if banks are dealing with crypto-based companies, then banks have to be like, yeah, we're not going to work with you, right? So that week, when all that stuff happened, my bank account got shut down. Right. So I'm just like, well, what the heck? I'm not doing anything. It's just like for bills, for expenses, for monthly servers that we have to pay for and rent, and so it's been a lot of headache, but we finally have gotten set up in a safe way. We had to go around all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'm sharing too much information, but I just want people to see the the honesty and transparency of what we're going through as a company during this time.
No, I do remember exactly what you're talking about there with the truckers. And I think the same thing's happening now with Russia. A lot of people are concerned about how crypto transfers are being used to fund Russia while they are, at war with Ukraine. So thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry to hear that your bank account got blocked. The irony of it is that people would say that is why crypto is so important. So that
exactly. Everyone was like, are you okay? Like, do you need? And I'm just like, well, to be very honest with you, we're okay. Like I can still, the majority of the money that we have is sitting in crypto. Like it's government can't do anything. Like literally they cannot.
That's great to hear. So Devon, now if we can shimmy over now and take a look at your business model again. I'm curious to know why you no longer horizon investing. Is hedging all about the short-term gains, or are you looking to tweak your investment strategies in the coming future, please?
We do not think that holding on to an investment long term is very smart, especially when it comes to crypto. HODL, holding on for dear life, it's okay, but with the technology that we have, with our high frequency trading servers that I've developed and designed to trade the market, to scalp the market a couple 100,000 times per day, I feel like that's the best way to make money. Like today we've had, I'll just be totally honest and transparent right now. Today we made $30,000. And the reason is because the market was tanking. I mean, Dow Jones was tanking, Bitcoin was tanking. We didn't trade Bitcoin, but everything was tanking today. But our systems were able to pick up on that, and we shorted the market like milliseconds, just like boom, 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 and we were able to catch like those big long moves, because whenever stocks rise, it kind of goes up slowly, but when stocks fall, they just shoot down like mad crazy. Wow. So shorting is always easier for us, and it's just great. It's a very low risk type of trading, and most people can't do what we do, right? I've been asked, hey, why don't you teach a course on how to do this? I could do that, but literally the majority, I already know, like, I don't want to sell a course because I know that 98% of the people will fail at doing what we're trying to do. So I'd rather do it for them and just help them prosper and succeed.
Yes, because you're right. What you do, you can't really dabble watching the markets like that to be able to time your trades and your strategies. It's a full-time job, and it requires dedication, as you know. So, yeah, thank you, Devon, for sharing that. You are so transparent, and just the way you're talking so openly about it makes me feel very comfortable to continue on with this discussion. So, can
Yeah.
you tell us more about the assets that you park your funds in as well? Why do you pick one asset class for, say, indices or foreign currency over the other? And what's the rationale behind that decision?
Volatility is what we look for. For example, when we trade euro US dollar, it is one of the most volatile pairs. XAU USD, also known as gold, that is a very volatile pair. And US 30, also called DJI or Dow Jones, Dow Jones Industrial Average, that is the third most volatile pair. So we thrive off volatility. And when the market's in the free fall, yeah, it's also a good thing too. But when the market's kind of like choppy, going up and down, like we really, really like that based on our trading style. So that's the rationale and the reasoning for that is we choose stocks that are just that have the most volume, right? The most institutional traders, and our systems are trading against computers. So those other computers are doing the same thing every day in the market, and we're picking up on that, and we just take the little scraps off. Like the little 30,000 that we made is very small compared to other hedge funds that make millions of dollars per day, right? We'll get there, but yeah, so that's the reasoning for that.
Okay, cool. So you've mentioned your high frequency trading. So just for the people who aren't aware of this, is that AI bots? Could you fill us in?
Yeah, high frequency trading is so HFT is not bots. We do not stick a expert advisor into MetaTrader 4. That's a trading thing. We don't use trading view and have some sort of algorithm on there. For those who are techie, we trade using the FIX protocol 4.4, which is the financial something exchange. I forget what the I is, but that is what we trade. It is mainly for institutional traders. So it is how banks communicate and trade with one another. We actually tap into that feed as well.
Okay.
So what we do is very, very advanced. It's very high, it's very low level. A lot of programming is involved with Python and Java, and that is how we trade. So what we do is it's not, so most people think that, oh, I just have like a little bot that I have on a website and I stick in and I attach it onto a chart and it's trading for us. When we first started off, yeah, I did have that, but most expert advisors, that's what a bot is called in the foreign exchange market, it's called an EA. Most of those fail, and we just gave up on that. We're like, listen, I can't keep losing money. So we switched strategies and actually figured out what banks are using to trade, and we want to trade just as fast as they do.
Wow. That is an ambitious goal, and I wish you all the best with that. Sounds fantastic. So earlier we talked a little bit about blockchain, and we'd love to know a little bit more from you about why some people are still opposed to decentralized technology. We've talked about KYC and maybe some of the scams protocols that come out of this world, but it's obvious if the bad actors do get involved, things can get a little bit hazy. Could you fill us in? What's, in your opinion, why do people still oppose this technology?
Yeah, it's mainly politicians, government officials that want control, so they don't like DeFi. When it comes to DeFi, however, this is just my opinion. I don't really feel like DeFi, decentralized finance, is truly decentralized. The only decentralized finance is Bitcoin. That's the only thing that's actually decentralized. And the reason is I have a background in IT. So DeFi, decentralized finance, it's still run by a company, right? Yeah. So if you go to a website what's a website that's DeFi? Uniswap or
Sure.
some of these other companies. There's a team of people, of IT professionals, of DevOps, that website is being hosted on a server that's being controlled by developers that can see all the code going in and out. They can manipulate anything at will, whether it's through SQL tables. They can change anything, because it's still running on a human-made platform. If that makes any sense, it's still running on a server that someone controls. Whereas Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin is just out there. It's like anyone can participate. It's not on any central server. The day that DeFi, which probably will happen, goes to where it's not on a central server or a company that's managing it, like Uniswap or whatever, that's when it will be truly decentralized, when it comes to like Ethereum and smart contracts and stuff like that. But so yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. So right now I don't really feel like it's truly DeFi. Only Bitcoin's truly decentralized. But yeah, most people like the fact that governments don't have the ability to see what's going on, but governments really, really want to control, right? Which is going to happen with the CBDC's central bank digital currency that is on its way. So once that comes out, like they're going to be all for crypto. Like, hey, we're all for crypto, da 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 da. But it's going to be like, hey, use our crypto. And if you use their crypto, then it's just like, yeah, you're right back where you started.
Yes.
Which is going to happen. It's going to happen. But so that's just my 2 cents on that.
Thank you so much. So we're reaching the end of this podcast. It's been very enlightening, but we can't finish talking about the markets without tapping onto inflation. It's the talk of the town at the moment. And we've seen many assets react in similar ways to the impacts of inflation. Do you think Bitcoin and other crypto assets are good mediums of hedge, or do you think cryptos have not yet established themselves as an effective hedge against inflation?
Bitcoin and cryptos are not a good medium of hedge at the current moment. The reason is because it's still too new, it's too wild. It is now known as a pump and dump scenario. The majority of hedge funds and other companies, and they see it as an opportunity to manipulate, right? So I know that if I thought this way, but I know that if I had billions of dollars and there's some other crypto that's number 13 on the list, and I study it, and I have my quantitative analysis people, figuring out how this thing works. I'm pretty sure that with enough money, you can take down a currency or cause a dip or something for it to happen, for someone to make a lot of money, right? That's exactly what happened with Luna, right? There's a hedge fund out there. It's 100%. It was definitely planned. Someone knew exactly what they were doing with Luna. Yeah. They just caused a massive dump to happen, and they did it like multiple times to where it just depegged. And then once other people's systems and alarms start going off, like, hey, whoa, this thing just went from $1 to 92 cents. What the heck? Oh, move our money out, right? Yeah. Boom, they move their money out, and then other people are like, oh my goodness, what's going on? I'm moving my money out, and then it just starts a chain reaction. And then if that thing, if Luna is what's being traded on a futures platform, for example, Binance futures platform. Futures platform is just a fancy word for leverage. Or margin. So with leverage, you can short with ease. So all you have to do is cause something that happens in the market. Boom, boom. It's going to fall. You short it and just collect money as it goes down. So that's definitely can be manipulated. So back to the original thing is no, not a good hedge. And the reason is, if you looked at the markets today, Dow Jones went down, Bitcoin went down, NASDAQ went down, even the S&P 500 went down. But what went up? Well, gold went up. So XAU USD, that went up. And that's exactly what always happens. So if the market is tanking, 100% people are putting their money in gold.
Yeah.
So gold, it's just crazy. Even after all these years and century, gold is still the standard. It's gold. Even though it's numbers on a screen, it's still the standard. So
yeah, well, the market cap for the gold investments close to 11 or 12 trillion dollars, I believe. So
wow. Yeah, that is a lot.
That certainly is a lot. Devon, thank you so much for your time today. But before you go, just one thing. I don't know, do you think the crypto market is dependent on the traditional financial market closing part of the time? The crypto market's open 24/7. Just in your opinion, just off the cuff here, just before we wind up the discussion, how do you think the crypto market would be affected if it wasn't open all the time and did close at some point?
I think that in regards to what it was originally designed for, it won't affect it too much, which is for payments, sending money back and forth.
Yeah.
In regards to trading, trying to make money off of it, I feel like yes, it would definitely let me just rewind on that. I would say that if Bitcoin was tradable in the London session or the New York session, then everyone would know, okay, Bitcoin market is about to open. Let's not do any payments right now because volume is going to shoot through the roof, right? It's just going to be so much stuff. So it is good that it is open 24/7. That's great. But I will say this on another side is that Bitcoin's volume does spike in between the London and the New York session.
Right.
So 100% of I watch it. I'll just pull up a chart and just be and I won't look at if it's rising or falling. I'll look at an indicator called volume. I just want to see how much volume is happening. And then sure enough, it's just that crossover between London and US is when the most volume happens. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. And it's also interesting to see that some of the indicators, it's easier to read the price of Bitcoin now. People predicted that it was going to go to 20,000 or close to it 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not so readable. Do you have any thoughts on that before we close off?
Oh yeah, definitely. Bitcoin is just like any tradable asset. So there are indicators out there that let you know, based off of historical patterns of what Bitcoin has done, along with price action. That's a big thing, is price action. They can see, what most likely is going to happen, a day, a week, or 2 weeks in advance. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but the likelihood of something happening, the chances are definitely high for sure. So yeah, it's definitely possible. There are indicators out there that do a really good job of that, but of course, nothing's 100%.
Sure. Thank you, Devon, for sharing your insights with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And before we close off, was anything you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yeah, no, again, my name's Devon Edwards, founder, hedge fund manager of KB Crypto and KB Capital. We're the same company. And if you have any questions, do reach out to me. You can just email support@kbcrypto.ai. Or just go to our website, which is KB Crypto or kbcapital.ai, and talk with anyone on there, and we'll be able to assist you. So yeah,
fantastic. I'm on your site now, and it looks great. There's a nice little friendly video there, a couple of videos, so looks very inviting. Thank you so much, Devon, for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And that was Devon Edwards. He's a founder and hedge fund manager at KB Crypto. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on YouTube. Kalkine Media is the channel to go to. So make sure you subscribe. And this is Sage reminding you to please stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine Media.